Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. I'm Camari Ellis, a former portfolio manager, a recovering financial advisor, and a current tax advisor. And I love helping people break down money topics. Today, I want to talk about three topics, right? The main one being 401k millionaires. Also, I want to talk about emergency funds, how people are saving up emergencies by buying sneakers and Barbie dolls and collectible cards. And also wanted to talk about Tyler Perry and how he is no longer buying BET. But let's talk about that in a minute. The Wall Street Journal announced that Paramount drops plans to sell BET. Now, the funny thing about this is on social media, people have been running, jumping, and saying, oh, Tyler Perry brought this. Now, over the last couple of months, there's been rumors that Tyler Perry was going to buy this, that Byron Allen was going to buy this, that Sean Puffy Combs was going to buy this, that Shaquille O'Neal was going to buy this. Everybody was going to buy this. But the deal never went through. And the crazy thing about it is social media ran with it, and they were running with memes of saying that Tyler Perry brought Tyler Perry brought BET. And it was never announced. And so what I say is make sure you do your research. Make sure you get good primary source evidence, right? When I say primary source, real reputable media and journalistic outlets. Don't just take your information from the local social media guru that everybody goes to. Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of them are scammers. All right, so I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about this next. All right, so stock market rally makes more 401k savers millionaires. Now, this is really, really something I think that should be focused on. A lot of people don't realize that 401ks, average everyday people, have a great opportunity to generate income and wealth for retirement from their 401k. But I do see a lot of people floating around in the social atmosphere saying that 401ks are bad, they're terrible, and still everyone is not in their 401k. But I think it's a great tool, one of the best tools. Most of the millionaires that I've met in my lifetime were generated through 401k plans. The amount of 401k plan millionaires far outweighs the amount of entrepreneurial millionaires. Most people that work 9 to 5 make more money than entrepreneurs. So normally, most 9 to 5 people have more money in their 401ks. 401k is a wonderful thing, especially if the job offers a free match. And usually what that looks like is employee gets money, their paycheck, it automatically goes into the 401k plan before it even hits the check. So it's like a forced savings. And then from there, you can invest that money. We know the stock market is doing phenomenal this year. Year to date, let's see, real quick, phenomenal. Year to date, the S&P 500 is up 14.28%. So that's way better than doing nothing. And not to mention that this is growing tax-free. And now with a regular 401k, when it's time to pull the money out, you will have to pay tax on it. But the whole time that it's sitting in the 401k, growing in the 401k, it is not being taxed. One day I'll come back and I'll do some calculations and talk about the process of being taxed versus non-tax and how it can be a benefit for you. But again, get yourself a 401k if you have access to one. If you do not have access to a 401k, make sure you start a IRA. Because here's the thing, I don't ever plan to retire. I don't. But my body may make the decision for me and say, Camari, it's enough of you going to work or doing work. It's your body doesn't feel like doing it. Your mind might not be able to do it, but you're still going to need money. So even though your mind and body may not be capable of doing this, your home is still going to need to be paid for. Your bills are never going to stop going. All right. So put yourself some money away. If you're young, just know that the time is coming. I'm sure you won't believe it now, All young people believe they're invincible, but the time is coming where you're going to need some money and you don't want to be the one getting up, going to work 9 to 5, 10 to 6, 11 to 7, whatever your shift is, to get up and make money. You're going to need money set away to be able to take care of yourself. All right. Next thing I want to talk about was this article I saw in the Wall Street Journal. And here you see a man in Rangers gear. So if you're from New York, shout out to y'all Rangers. And it says this is the article. Cash-strapped collectors offload prize memorabilia, selling away my life. That's what somebody said. Now, the subtitle there says, their collectible baseball cards, sneakers, Barbies are their emergency funds. That's a bad idea, and that is very, very dangerous, right? But I know people that do this, right? Because they feel that the item, like I have some friends who really buy sneakers, that's their business. And they also will put sneakers on the side and it's going to grow away. But here's the thing. You need cash because a lot of times when emergencies come, you need the cash because if the emergency is coming, somebody's going to say, all right, you got a pair of Jordans, you want to sell them and they're worth $100. And you go to sell, you want to sell them real fast. And they're like, well, I'll offer you 20. That is an 80% discount. And by the way, that's just a hypothetical, right? But you need to be able to grab cash when you need it and then possibly sell off your collectibles, your memorabilia, your stocks, whatever it may be at the time that it's truly valued. So keep that in mind. Now, there was a couple of things in this article I wanted to go over real quick. So let's go back to this. So here it says, Americans built bookshelves and shrines to the baseball cards, vinyl records, and sneakers they collected through sometimes painstaking efforts. Now they're selling them off. Collectors say they don't have a choice. Their budgets have been squeezed by inflation and unexpected setbacks. Now, many people have been squeezed by by inflation. And many people have been set back for unexpected things that happen in life. Whether someone got sick, child goes to college, you have an unexpected need for money, need for cash. That's why savings is so important. But they took this time to build these big nest egg of baseball cards and sneakers. Well, they were putting that money into something that really wasn't generating anything that was tangible for them in their time of need, right? So I would say that it wasn't just inflation and high interest rates, right? Now, here is a quotable from somebody that was interviewed for this article. This is literally like selling away my life, said Mitch Beck, 61, who put his trove of New York's Rangers memorabilia up for sale to tackle his high-growing six-figure debt. Now, my heart goes out to Mitch, but I'll say this. How did he get that debt? How tight was his budget? Did he adjust? So sometimes you have to make adjustments in life because sadly life be lifing. And some days you might make more money. Some days you might make less money. Some years you might make more money. Some years you might make less money. And in those years that you're making less money, a lot of times you're living the same when you were living in the years you're making more money. You have to make adjustments. So it gets a little crazy. All right. Beck, who took more than 23 years to amass his collection, priced it out at $25,000 to $30,000. He said he believes he could earn more by selling each item individually, but couldn't handle the emotional toll of that process. Boxing it up and watching it dwindle, it would kill me. I genuinely don't believe that I could. Now, here's the thing, right? Beck's consulting business in Connecticut took a hit after the pandemic, from which he has struggled to recover. In 18 months, he said he has lost his car and his he lost his car and his children's college funds. That's... I would have been sold this if it came down to my children's college fund, but that's another thing. Though he intended to pass the hockey cash, including pucks signed by Wayne Gretzky and Mark Meisner to his sons. They told him that his health and well-being were far more important than their memorabilia. Now, let's say this. I will say this. The children got it right. The children truly understand what's really important here, not the memorabilia. Yeah, you might have an affinity for the New York Rangers, but you don't own the New York Rangers. But again, my heart goes out to him because he clearly has a love and an affection for the New York Rangers. So much so that he cashed out the kids' college funds before he sold off the memorabilia. I would have did it in reverse. I would have been sold off the memorabilia. But again, just going through this because this is a learning lesson, because there's quite a few people who are in this same debacle. Right? So there was another thing here. So here's another gentleman who buys and sells sneakers. Isaiah Holmes, the 23-year-old owner of Sunset Sneakers, a social media operated sneaker store, has benefited from the collection's market hype. The Oregon-based reseller is doing his part to simulate demand for rare sneakers by buying up to 500 pairs each month and regularly paying 6 to 7 figures for collections. His team sells between 2,500 and 3,000 pairs each month. That's a lot. Now, this is different. This isn't a cash pile. This actually sounds like a business. All right. So he is in the business of buying and selling rare sneakers. Now, he might be, like I talked about earlier, my friend who buys and sells sneakers and kind of stashes his sneakers away for a rainy day because he believes they're going to continue to increase in value, appreciate in value. But you never know because markets fluctuate. Markets go up and down. So it says a lot of people are paying crazy numbers for rare samples and players' exclusive shoes. And the rarity drives up the price, Holmes said. They're collector pieces just like anything else. Holmes said owners often part with their collections as a way to save for essentials. That's bananas to me. A lot of times when we buy sellers out, the majority of the answer is I'm going to buy a house. I need to liquidate my collection. And so again, I get it. People are using these as a savings or as an investment, but you really need a systematic way to go about this, because if not, again, you can be put in a very, very precarious position. And when the time comes, you're either selling your rare, precious items at at an enormous discount and not truly getting the worth that you wanted or expected. People really don't understand. There's a whole logic and way to follow this in the financial world. And if you at least have an understanding of this, right, you can move your money and at least understand how to layer and handle your money a lot better. Now, what we're showing here is what's called an asset allocation, an asset allocation pyramid. And it just goes to show like what's important, what's not important. You hear a lot of people running around saying cash is trash. That's fine. You can go there, but cash still has a place in your overall life, in your overall financial plan, so you can set things up. And then when you look at this is from Investopedia. When you look at this, how to handle your money, there's a base, there's a there's a base, medium, and a summit, or apex, whatever you want to call it. And this is going from low risk to high risk. Now, cash, money market, CDs, government bonds typically are low risk, right? In the middle, real estate, because these things have more risk. Stocks and bonds have more risk. Now, at the top of this chart, it says options, futures, collectibles, right? They are the most risky, right? They have the most risk. And so when you look at these things and you're thinking about where best to put your money, right? You got to establish a base. It's like you got to build your foundation. Anybody, like if you think about a house, what's the first thing that goes into a house? You got to dig up dirt. If you can see your mind, digging up dirt, pouring concrete to lay a foundation, right? Nothing matters before the foundation is poured and laid. And then they have footers and other things. I won't get into that. But that's the premise foundation for your own financial home. You need cash or things that are very much like cash, that are very much secure. What I see a lot of times is people, they forget the cash or they don't want to do the cash because, again, you'll hear things like cash is trash. People are scared about inflation. They want to get into all the other things like stocks. And now people are talking about artwork as well, collectibles. But cash has a place in your overall financial plan. They want to jump, they want to skip the bottom and go to the very, very top, right? What happens in a home when you skip the bottom? There's no foundation. So if there's no foundation, there's nothing really to be sturdy on. There's nothing you can really mount anything on. There's nothing that's really secure because it's all going to be shifting. So I caution you all, if you're saving for an emergency or a house or college, don't do it in collectibles. I would say don't even do it in crypto. Do it in cash, maybe some stock, maybe some real estate. It all depends on what you can tolerate. But especially just your overall emergency fund, the thing that needs to keep you going if something goes wrong, like, I don't know, COVID. If you've been around me for a while, y'all know I recommend that everybody does what? Get your first $1,000 in emergency fund. Then save up that $1,000 to 2 to 3 months expenses. And then from there, keep saving, keep chipping on the way. You should have about a year's worth of income in your stash. Get to that, then you can figure out how to maximize that as well. But people think I'm crazy when I say that. Now, if you go back and you look, we just got through COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs, couldn't go to work, couldn't run their business. We just talked about that in this article, right? The consultant. What would have happened to him if he had a year's worth of income set aside? He probably wouldn't be thinking about selling off his collectibles, his treasures, things that he loves and cherishes. He will be keeping them. So again, think about managing your money in a good way, right? Again, start with the base, cash, most important. And then move your way on up. Get some stocks, get some bonds, get some real estate. Then you can look at the more sexier things. You can buy your collectibles. Now, how would you break this up? Let's say you make $1,000 a week. Well, you got to pay for your food. You got to pay for your mortgage or your rent. Probably got a car note, girlfriend, boyfriend, boo thing. Got to take them out. Spend maybe 50 to 60% of that money. So that's $500 to $600 of that money. Then set aside 30, 20, 10%, somewhere around there, right? Everybody's lifestyle, everybody's circumstances is different. So I don't like to give hard, concrete numbers like that because personal finance is personal. So it really needs to work. Needs to work for you. But maybe 10% of that money that you're putting away for your savings, you're putting into your collectibles. And then you can say, all right, I'm just going to set this aside and I'm going to let this build up where I can go buy some Barbie dolls, where I can go buy some Jordans, where I can go buy some baseball cards, all memorabilia, all putting it to the side. I don't see anything wrong with that. You got to have a plan when attacking your money. So hopefully this is helpful for everyone that's been here today. Let me know what you think about this. Drop a comment and drop a comment for me and let me know what you think. And let me know what other money topics you're concerned about or have questions about. Okay, until the next time, Camari Ellis out. Make sure that you're saving. And in that savings, make sure you do some investments as well. Camari Ellis out. Until the next time, y'all have a great day.